this Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock, right here on KSL News Radio 1027.
Salt Lake City Fat Loss is having a huge holiday sale, over 20% off, making it our lowest prices of the year. You can start the program before, during, or after the holidays. We know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day with no prepackaged meals, no injections or surgery. The secret is our program helps reset your metabolism so you can keep the weight off for good. To learn how our clients on average lowered their metabolic age by 17 years, go to slcfatloss.com now to schedule your free consultation and learn why your metabolism may be sabotaging your weight loss goals. Go to slcfatloss.com and save now only through December 31st.
I'm Jeff Kaplan. Take advantage of this huge holiday sale with the lowest prices of the year now through December 31st. You can start the program now or after the holidays, but you need to call now to lock in that huge discount. Go to slcfatloss.com now to schedule your free consultation. That's slcfatloss.com.
Results may vary.
KSL News Radio congratulates the BYU Cougars on an incredible 11-1 season and their invitation to the Big 12 Championship game. Celebrate with KSL during a special edition of Cougar Sports Saturday this Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. Brought to you by BMW of Pleasant Grove. And you can experience the pinnacle of automotive innovation at BMW of Pleasant Grove on West Grove Parkway or online at bmwofpg.com. Your ultimate driving machine awaits.
The power of we believes in you. It advocates for you. It completes your circle. It makes sure you have the strongest circle possible. And with Intermountain Health in yours, you'll always have the care you need to live the healthiest life possible. That's the power of we. Intermountain Health.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards, and here's Cormac Bone.
Well, we have some light slowing on northbound I-15 going from South Salt Lake into downtown. It starts around 21st South and reaches up to 13th South. Looks like we might have a small accident in the right shoulder maybe. We're seeing some flashing lights. Camera not zoomed in quite yet, so I can't get too many details. Construction delays, though, on eastbound Pioneer Crossing, breaking up after the morning commute. Still a little slow starting around 7800 West. And the 201 freeway, seeing some normal slowing in both directions in Magna. Home ownership is slipping away in Utah, and young Utahns are being priced out of their own communities. Learn more about Utah's housing shortage and what we can do to begin to fix it at demandmoresupply.com. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
We get a little break in the winter storm midday today, but then we'll get some more snow tonight. Tomorrow we'll have rain because it's going to warm up tomorrow to 45 degrees. Right now it's 36 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
We have some breaking news. Within the last few minutes, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's Vaccine Advisory Panel has voted in an 8-2 vote to change the recommendation for when children should get their first dose of the hepatitis B vaccine. Currently, the recommendation is that they receive that vaccine within 24 hours of birth, and that's been in place for 30 years by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, and that has now been changed to delaying it until the child is 2 months old and born to mothers who test negative for the virus. A lot of medical experts, including the American Academy of Pediatrics, oppose the change, saying it would leave young children at risk for an infection that can lead to lifelong illness. Several pediatric professors and doctors have indicated that there is no reason to change that, no rational science. Parents can make their own decisions, however, and that's always been the case if they don't want to have their child vaccinated. As you probably know, hepatitis B is an incurable viral infection that can lead to liver disease, cancer, and early death. The hepatitis B vaccine has been universally recommended for newborns in the U.S. since 1991. Over that time, research shows that hepatitis B infections among infants and children has dropped 99%. So this is something that our Center for Disease Control and our Secretary of Human Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy, have had on their agenda for some time, indicating that some vaccines may cause illnesses such as autism and whatnot. Not a lot of medical support for that, but the Centers for Disease Control has made a change in that particular vaccine.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful.
So I got up this morning in my beautiful house in Eden up in the Ogden Valley to a lot of snow. There was a lot of snow on the road, and I usually try to get here early. Got behind the snow plows. UDOT was out. They were in force, and I have to say they were prepared, but Highway 89 had a cadre of snow plows traveling at a safe speed, and I just tucked in behind them because I'll tell you the best place to drive in a snowstorm is behind the snowplow, not in front of it. But it took me a while to get here. I was a little bit later than usual, but a little bit more snow than I guess I expected. I don't know. Maybe I was asleep at the wheel. I thought the better part of the snow was coming this evening, but we had quite a bit today. The further south I got into Salt Lake County, it got a little bit better, but up north there was quite a bit of snow. Joining us this morning is Sam Weber, meteorologist with the National Weather Service in Salt Lake City. Sam, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, pleasure to be here.
So was my experience different than others, or do you think that's what the weather pattern was this morning?
You know, for you up in the Eden area, that was very much kind of an isolated instance, especially up that area on the Wasatch Back, up in Park City, a little bit more snow as well. But the lower elevation valleys were essentially snow-free. We had a little bit of light snow in the northern Utah valleys, but, a little bit coming down during the morning commute, but not really sticking a whole lot.
Sam, we had sort of heard that this storm might be coming in phases, and that the bigger part of the storm would be maybe today or tomorrow. Is that still in play?
Yeah, you're correct. So that initial kind of surge of moisture and snow that we saw last night was just a little introduction. As we head through the afternoon today or the late morning, we're going to see things start to taper off. But as we head towards about 2 o'clock onward, we're going to see another significant surge of moisture, which is going to bring us some pretty heavy mountain snow and even maybe some snow on the Wasatch Back where it's a little bit colder. Tonight we could see another upwards of 10 to 20 inches in the mountains. And then your area up in Eden, Liberty, could see another 2 to 3 inches of snowfall coming.
So, yeah, I was thinking about that. When you say mountain snow, that's great. But some of us don't like to plow the driveway. So where do you think the elevation cutoff's going to be? And I know it's different for every part of the Wasatch Front.
Yeah, snow levels are going to rapidly rise here this morning. We're sitting around 5,000 feet. But as we head into the evening, we're going to raise snow levels up to about 6,000 to 7,000 feet. So really elevations above that will maintain snow the whole time, whereas elevations below will see a transition over to rain. The story becomes a little bit trickier on the Wasatch Back in that Ogden Valley area where cold air might just sit in place the whole time, and then we could see a significant amount of snow if that happens. But right now the forecast is calling for snow levels rising well above the valley floor, which would force over to rain through the evening and overnight.
I noticed, Sam, just looking at the ski report, that a lot of our ski resorts haven't opened yet. A couple have. Some are scheduled to open this weekend. Some are scheduled to open next weekend, including the mountain I work at, Powder Mountain. It looks like that may be palatable. It looks like some of those resorts that are waiting a week or two should be in pretty good shape. Is that your take?
Yeah. I mean, this storm especially is going to bring a lot of good base building snow. It's heavy, it's wet, it's good for base building. We're going to see anywhere from about 2 to 2.5 inches in the central Wasatch and up that way in the Powder Mountain area. Could see upwards of 1.5 to 2 inches of snow water equivalent total. As far as snow goes, that's going to translate to around a foot for the Powder Mountain area and upwards of 2 feet for the central Wasatch. So really good base building snow. This is the stuff that we need to help kick off our winter.
And looking forward, Sam, to the next 2 to 10 days, anything else on the horizon?
Yeah, definitely. As we head into, Sunday, things are going to taper off with this storm as that moisture exits the area. We're going to have high pressure build back into place for a couple of days. We might stay a little bit active across far northern Utah, but the next period we're checking to see some potential mountain snow is going to be I'd say Wednesday, Thursday period where, again, we have moisture that's going to want to overrun this area of high pressure and push into the northern area. So we're keeping an eye on that. There's still a lot of uncertainty with that storm, but if it's going to happen, that's going to be our next time period is that Wednesday, Thursday.
Well, you've all been spot on with the recent storm, Sam. So thank you a lot, and we'll look forward to looking even more snow in the next week. That was Sam Weber, meteorologist with the National Weather Service in Salt Lake City. And let's go to the traffic center at Cormac Bone. Cormac, I ran into some trouble this morning southbound on Highway 89 in Davis and Weber counties. What can you tell us about the roads?
Yeah, I mean, that was really kind of our worst slowing was around 89. I-15 was looking surprisingly healthy all morning. Like, there was some slowing, normal for the workflow traffic, but usually in that snow, we see a lot of crashes, and we didn't have a single one this morning.
Yeah, I noticed that. The road went pretty well. I mean, I got tucked in behind a couple snowplows, which is good and bad. The road was great. The speed was bad.
Right.
But, it seemed like UDOT was out in force this morning, at least in that area.
Yeah, I'm sure the plows were trying to get the roads cleared out as soon as possible, but with the snow not sticking to the road, didn't take them too long, I imagine. Like, it was Pardley's Canyon that had our longest stretch of slowing. Otherwise, yeah, drivers were getting to work on time.
So those that don't work at 8 o'clock or 6 o'clock like I do that are driving now, what's the commute like along the Wasatch Front?
Yeah, you're looking really good. Right now, our only main issue is northbound I-15 approaching 13th South. We had a crash that's in the right shoulder right now. That starts around the Spaghetti Bowl where those delays are, but otherwise, even in Lake Point where that construction usually causes grief, it's looking good.
All right. Thanks, Cormac. That was Cormac Bone with the KSL Traffic Center. So we've got new information from the CDC, weather, and traffic all in one segment. That's a great way to start the day. When we come back, if you're heading up into the mountains this weekend, it's also important to be aware of avalanches. It's been Avalanche Safety Week, and we're going to talk to an expert about avalanches where we are right now along the Wasatch Front, dangers, and whatnot for people who may be going up into the hills this weekend. Stay with us.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install a Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Do you spend half your day walking or standing while working? If you have foot, knee, or back problems, the Good Feet store wants to help you like we helped Tony.
Pain that I experience the most is foot pain from being on my feet all day. You're having to kind of talk to yourself through the whole shift, like, I got this, I can do this. Before, I felt defeated, and now it's like, all right, let's go. I'm ready. A whole new life, like sunshine coming on.
And how about working more comfortably, like Dennis?
Working at an amusement park, it's always on your feet. I just couldn't take it, but I didn't have a choice. I just couldn't believe that putting these arch supports in made that much of a difference that quickly. I could do my job and I could take care of my family. I know what my tomorrow's gonna be. It's gonna be positive.
You deserve a better life too. Stop in the Good Feet store today. We have locations in Farmington, Riverton, and Sandy.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install a Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Monday on KSL, you found it. The perfect holiday present right there online.
I purchased a meditation device.
So you pay and wait for it to be delivered. But what if it never comes? And getting your money back?
I don't have any confidence they're gonna do right by the refund.
I'll reveal what you need to know to avoid having a Grinch ruin your gift giving. Santa-approved online shopping safeguards. Monday at 10.
From now through December, earn triple points with a rewards visa from Cyprus Credit Union. Shop for everything on your wish list and earn points. Start your application today at cypruscu.com.
Over the years, you've brought them into your home. You were prescribed opioids after the C-section, when Dad injured his back, when your basketball star tore his ACL. Opioids helped with the pain, and you held on to them just in case. But did you know holding on to unused opioids puts your family at risk? Opioids are powerful pain-reducing prescription medicines, but most people who are prescribed opioids don't finish their prescriptions. So millions of unused opioids are sitting in homes across the country. And tragically, more than 100 Americans die every day from overdoses involving opioids. What can you do to protect your family? Remove the risk of unused opioids from your home. Pills, patches, or syrups in drawers, purses, and cabinets, anywhere they might be hiding. To find out how to dispose of them properly, visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Hi, this is Christina Ricci with RAIN. Every 2 minutes, another American is sexually assaulted. If you or someone you know has been sexually assaulted, you are not alone. Help is just a call or click away through the National Sexual Assault Hotline. Please call 1-800-656-HOPE, that's HOPE, or visit RAIN.org, that's RAINN.org.
Brought to you by RAIN and this station.
My name is Dale Pazinski. I volunteer with United Way to help the homeless in my community learn computer skills and build a basic resume. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Sleigh bells ring, are you listening?
We are continuing our coverage of the new snow that we're all enjoying this morning. And I think a lot of you know that in addition to being involved with KSL News Radio, for the last 42 years, I have been a member of the National Ski Patrol. I spent 30 years at the Park City Mountain Resort, and I'm about to start my 12th year at the Powder Mountain Resort, and we do a lot of, obviously, it's our job, avalanche interdiction, avalanche safety, avalanche training. It's a work in progress, and I'm so thankful for the Utah Avalanche Center, because as much training as we do and as much experience as we have, we still rely on our forecasters to tell us where we are, what's safe, and it's also helpful to know what's happening at the other mountains. So if you're in Powder Mountain and there's a slide at Snow Basin, that's really, really helpful to know, because sometimes they have similar snow conditions and similar aspects. So anyway, I'm rambling a bit. We have Craig Gordon, who knows far more about avalanches than I'll ever know, and to join us. Thanks, Craig.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And happy winter, Greg. How are things on your front?
It's good. And we're scheduled to open a week from tomorrow, and it looks like we may do it. I was worried a week or so ago, but it looks like the snow's coming. So, yeah, it's coming up in that area. Hey, so it's Avalanche Awareness Week. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And, Greg, this is our 7th annual Avalanche Awareness Week. It kicked off on Monday with some hands-on training down at Sugar House Park. And then throughout the week, we've had free avalanche awareness clinics, hands-on beacon clinics, and tomorrow we wrap the week up with our 18th annual Utah Snow and Avalanche Workshop. And, Greg, that goes from 4 to 8 p.m. It's at Wasatch Junior High, and that's in Salt Lake. And what that is a series of presentations. They're about 15 minutes long, 5-minute Q&A, and we'll be covering weather forecasting. We'll also be covering how you can gather all the resources needed that you start to create your own avalanche forecast. We're going to learn from close calls with happy endings, and then put everything together so that we can implement our brain into helping us make solid decisions this winter.
I've attended some of those in the past, Craig, and they're well worth attending. So tell us this, for our listeners who may not appreciate it, but we don't have a tremendous amount of snow yet, but the avalanche danger is there even with what we may consider right now not a tremendous amount. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah, it's absolutely correct. And, you just said just a minute or two ago, Greg, like with the Powder Mountain opening, it's like, man, it didn't look too good, earlier in the week. I mean, obviously, we've had some early season snow. It's super shallow. And that snow that fell in October and November, it stuck around on the shady mid and upper elevation north-facing slopes. And what happens over time, Greg, is that shallow snow loses its structural integrity. It becomes a real weak base. And now, man, we are just going to stack some very dense, heavy snow on top of that. And, it's not the way you would want to build your condo complex with the weakest layer at the bottom for the basement. And it's not the optimal way to build our snowpack right now.
So at the mountains, such as the one I work at, Craig, we have, we get up and do our mitigation. We have the people out working the avalanche areas. But a lot of Utahns, including you, enjoy getting out in the hills, not necessarily riding a chairlift up. So tell us what the backcountry is going to be like this weekend.
Yeah, so the backcountry is actually going to light up with an increasing avalanche danger. So that weak structural base, I mean, it's just going to be no match for this dense, heavy snow. So, I mean, that's the bad news in the short term. It's going to get really spicy, and I suspect as this storm starts to evolve, it's an atmospheric river, and that means, a nice fire hose of moisture. It's exactly what we want to start building an early season base, but because that dense heavy snow is falling on a weak foundation, I suspect that we'll be able to trigger avalanches from a distance, from low on the slope, from not even being on the slope. So the real big ticket item right now, Greg, is to simply exercise some patience, pump the brakes a little bit. And, those areas that we would be enticed to go ski or board or snowmobile, those are going to be the exact most dangerous places. And that's going to be the terrain that we want to avoid. So that steep mid and upper elevation terrain. But it doesn't mean that we've got to hide under the beds this weekend. There's some options. One, we can enjoy the snow at a lot of our resorts that are starting to open. And, as you said, I mean, you and your team go out and actively knock down the avalanches before anybody even rolls into the parking lot in the morning. But then secondly, if you are headed into the backcountry, some of those southerly facing slopes, the slopes that are in the sun, had no old snow, and that's going to be a safer alternative. Now, the caveat to that is they're still going to be shallow, and there's lots of landmines out there. So, you can't go out charging like there's a 100-inch base, but there also are some alternatives.
Craig, it seems like, and I've been doing this a bit longer than you, that we've come a long way in terms of avalanche forecasting. I mean, nothing is ever perfect, including our own weather forecasting. But what can you tell our listeners about the advances we've had from when you started to today in terms of predicting avalanche danger?
Well, technology has really helped us out. And in avalanche forecasting, an Achilles heel for us, of course, is going to be the weather forecast. So things might look good coming on shore and everything like this year. Looks like it's poised and set to go. And then just because of the track of the jet stream, things fall apart. So I think that, that foundation of having solid weather forecasting and technology has helped out immensely with that. So if we've got that all good to go, then it helps us with our forecasting. And, Greg, there's nothing that's ever going to replace being out there and snooping around and getting our noses in the snow. So, of course, institutional knowledge helps out with that. And our statewide forecasting program literally has hundreds of years of experience under the belt.
Yeah, it literally does. So, Craig, let me ask you this. For our listeners who are in town from out of state who just want to get up in the hills and do a little trekking, where can they go to find out what is safe and what's available? And how can they find out from the Utah Avalanche Center what's going on?
Oh, sure. So statewide, our program is issuing daily forecasts. And, of course, that can be found at utahavalanchecenter.org. And as you click on our homepage, you'll see that the map is lit up with a little bit of green down in the skyline and some more yellow, which means moderate avalanche danger. Human-triggered avalanches are possible. And right now, Greg, really kind of our focus zones as far as an elevated hazard is going to be in the Salt Lake and Ogden area mountains. Now, as this storm starts to unfold and as it really starts getting going and finding its stride later in the day, we expect the avalanche danger to rise overnight. So remember, these conditions will be changing as the storm evolves. UtahAvalancheCenter.org is going to be your one-stop shop for all things avalanche. And like I said earlier, I mean, this is a great storm, so get out and enjoy it. If you want to take this snowmobile out for a rip, it's still pretty shallow out there, so road riding would be a good choice. Break in your new sled. If you're headed out for a backcountry ski or snowboard or trail run or snowshoe, simply stay off of and out from under steep wind-drifted slopes, and you're going to find those on the north half of the compass at mid and upper elevations.
Thanks, Craig. That was Craig Gordon from the Utah Avalanche Center, the Zen master of Utah Avalanche snow safety, and we rely on him and his organization immensely. When we come back after the break, a divided United States Supreme Court ruled in favor of the Texas GOP lawmakers who can change their congressional maps in anticipation of next year's midterm elections. What's the overall impact on that? And how does this affect other states redrawing their maps, including maybe Utah? We'll get into the latest with SCOTUS.blog. Call us next.
9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. Our top story this hour, Snow Basin Ski Resort opens today, and several people were camping out, snowboarders and skiers, to be the first on the mountain. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis reports.
Several tents are set up on the heated pavers with skiers and snowboarders waiting for lifts to run.
They want to be first chair. I think it's crazy, but they're awesome because the excitement is palpable, right?
Snow Basin General Manager Davey Ratchford says they'll have the learning terrain, main gondola, and their new mid-mountain lift open. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story this hour from ABC News. The FBI has arrested a Virginia man accused of leaving pipe bombs outside the headquarters of the Republican and Democratic National Parties before the January 6th riot at the Capitol. 30-year-old Brian Cole is facing explosives charges. ABC News Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas.
They say that they were able to triangulate some cell phone data to show that a phone used by him was moving along the route where the bombs were placed the day that they were placed. They claim that they have a photograph of a vehicle that matches a vehicle used by him that was in the vicinity the night that the bombs were placed.
His purchases from a local Home Depot also match the kinds of items that were used to make the bombs. Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 82 points. Right now we're at 47,932. Coming up, what about this storm system? Are we going to get any more snow or rain? KSL Weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:32.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
You probably know if you need new windows. You hear the wind whistling. There's condensation between the panes. Maybe your heating bill's too high, but you don't want to pull the trigger because it costs a lot of money. I understand. And they understand at Advanced Window Products. After all, they've been creating custom state-of-the-art windows right here in Salt Lake for 39 years. They know what's up. That's why they offer 60-month 0% financing or buy now, pay later. You get the window windows this winter for 30 to 40% less because you're buying straight from the factory. They'll build, they'll install your windows, and you don't have to pay for a year or more. At Advanced, they're committed to making your new windows affordable. And if you call now, they'll knock another $2,500 off your quote. State-of-the-art, energy-saving windows built here for Utah's changing climate. And right now, $2,500 off. Call for a quote, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or go to advancedwindows.com.
Women go through many changes in their lives. And we believe each milestone matters. That every new candle represents another step in your story. Our healthcare experts support women at every stage of life. Because each chapter deserves to be celebrated. Women's health. Nurture what's next. Find care near you at mountain.commonspirit.org. Common Spirit Health. Human kindness lives here.
From holiday hosting to unforgettable gifts, Omaha Steaks delivers the world's best steak experience. And now, during their Sizzle All the Way sale, you can get 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus, our listeners get an extra $35 off with promo code SKY at checkout. I was lucky enough to receive Omaha Steaks as a gift, and it was everything I had hoped for. Items were individually packaged so I could cook for the entire family. Or if I was the only one home, I would treat myself with a delicious steak, sides, and even dessert. I loved those nights by myself. Right now is the perfect time to save on delicious gifts and holiday hosting favorites. Every steak is perfectly aged to maximize tenderness and hand-cut by master butchers in America's heartland. It's holiday magic made easy. Save big on gourmet gifts and more holiday favorites with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide during their Sizzle All the Way sale. And for an extra $35 off, use promo code SKY at checkout. Terms apply. See site for details. That's omahasteaks.com, code SKY.
Experience the timeless Christmas classic that has captivated audiences nationwide. From the Michael McLean family to your family. See The Forgotten Carols musical. With an unforgettable story and songs that are a Christmas tradition, come meet our next generation and share the magic of Christmas in Orem, Salt Lake City, Ogden, Tooele, Logan, and Saratoga Springs. Tickets at ForgottenCarols.com.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. And here's Cormac Bone.
We do have a crash on northbound I-15 approaching 13th South. They are blocking a right lane and shoulder. They've caused some heavier delays that start around the I-80-201 interchange. We also have a crash on I-215's west belt. They were on the northbound off-ramp at 700 North. Now they're just after that right turn in the shoulder. We don't see any delays from them. And Pioneer Crossing, seeing those normal spotty slowdowns both directions in the construction zone from Saratoga Road to I-15. Looking for the ultimate holiday gift? That's what you get at Minky Couture, the original luxury blanket company. Use code KSL50 online and in stores to receive 50% off. Visit minkycouture.com. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
We have a winter storm today. We'll have snow for the next couple of hours, turning to rain as it warms up. We'll get up to 40 degrees for a high today. More rain tomorrow. Tomorrow's high 45. We get back in the 50s midweek next week. Right now, though, snow and 35 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
So yesterday, the United States Supreme Court ruled in favor of the Texas Republican lawmakers, which had redrafted their congressional maps and has now allowed them to use the congressional map in next year's midterm elections. Here's ABC's Nicole D'Antonio with the story from Washington.
The nation's highest court overturned a lower court ruling that found the new Texas maps were illegally drawn based on race. But Texas state officials argued the map was drawn purely for political advantage, which the Supreme Court has previously allowed. Now, in the wake of this decision, the new maps will be used in next year's midterm elections and are expected to give Republicans a net gain of 5 congressional seats.
To help us understand this, let's turn to managing editor of SCOTUS blog, Kelsey Dallas. Kelsey, first of all, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thanks for inviting me back.
And tell us, Kelsey, before we get to the ruling itself, how we got here, why why this case hit the Supreme Court and what they were considering?
Yes. So Texas's legislature worked on a new map this summer, and it was passed in August. So that already put this battle over the map on a very condensed timeline because the 2026 midterms are obviously quickly approaching. When challengers brought a case saying that new map had been unlawfully based on racial concerns, that went to a 3-judge district court panel who heard, I think, 2 weeks of testimony about sort of what went into making the map, what different experts felt the map was trying to do, if there were racial concerns involved. And that panel did not release its ruling until mid-November, which set this Supreme Court challenge in motion. Those dates are important because Texas was preparing to register its candidates in early December. And so Texas was saying, we need this answer ASAP. They were putting pressure on the Supreme Court to get back to them. And so the Supreme Court had to very quickly review what the district court had done, and then that led to the decision last night.
So the decision, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kelsey, isn't necessarily on the merits, but it's on whether or not the map that was drafted by the Texas legislature could be used, because it was put on hold by the 3-judge panel.
Right. It's complicated because it is a temporary decision, but of course, in this case, a temporary decision is quite significant for elections that will take place next year. Like it feels as if now we've reached the point where any trial on the merits would have no effect on the 2026 midterms. So that's correct that the case is still in this preliminary stage, but in redistricting cases, the preliminary stage ends up being quite significant.
And it's also significant, I would expect, just from looking at the court's ruling, that they use language Texas is likely to succeed on the merits of its claim. That gives you a little bit of a heads up as to where their leaning is, doesn't it?
Well, yes, and especially because when the case proceeds on the merits, that, of course, could ultimately end up in front of the Supreme Court. And it feels as if the Supreme Court has already showed its hand and say, well, it seems to us that Texas is fine here.
Exactly. So talk to us about the 3-judge panel that heard the case below, and just why that panel was put together, sort of how it's made up, and what its purpose was.
Well, panels like those are put together to assess these redistricting challenges, and they serve the function as like the trial court, where they're sort of considering all these details of what went into the map and really sort of getting into the weeds of how the legislature did this work and why the legislature did this work. When they ultimately produced their ruling, 2 out of the 3 judges together said that we think this map is based on an unconstitutional racial gerrymander. We're not going to allow Texas to use it in next year's elections. And that left 1 justice in the minority. But what was interesting is that judge did not write a dissent that came out on the same day as the majority opinion. It came a few days later, and this judge was incredibly angry that he felt like his colleagues had not given him time to provide the dissent at the same time as the majority opinion. It was really a remarkable piece of writing in the grand scheme of sort of the judiciary.
Yeah, I read that the judge was concerned not only about the amount of time that the other judges took to decide the case, but like you said, didn't give him much time to file a response. And his response was pretty, I mean, he definitely took a different position on the case.
Right. But what's interesting is there is a tension here, as we talked about earlier, with these redistricting cases needing to move quite quickly because of concerns about interference with the election and giving the candidates or potential candidates time to decide if they're going to run. So you could see that in the Supreme Court's opinion that was released last night. Justice Samuel Alito wrote a concurring opinion and said in that opinion, I could have written more. I could have addressed the dissent point by point, but we really need to get this out there. So there is a consideration of timing that adds to this tension between those lower court judges and sort of the ones in the majority had like plausible deniability and saying we needed to release our opinion. We had no time to wait for this dissent.
Yeah, and speaking of dissent, there were 3 of our Supreme Court justices who didn't agree with this decision that we're talking about, correct?
Right. So the 3 Democratic appointed justices, Elena Kagan, Sonia Sotomayor, and Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, were together in dissent, saying that it was an affront to that panel of judges in Texas to discard the work that they did and say that they had assessed the situation incorrectly. So basically, Kagan was writing the dissent and saying that the Supreme Court has swooped in and said, like, just based on a review of this 2-week assessment, we think you did it all wrong and we're going to block it. And she felt that the Supreme Court is not meant to play that role where you don't sort of take the lower court's decision in good faith.
So I have a question, and it may be a little unfair to you, Kelsey, because I don't know that you're fully aware of what's happening here in Utah, but we have a similar situation. It's obviously not going to go the United States Supreme Court between now and the midterm elections. But can you explain the Supreme Court's previous ruling about drawing maps for political advantage versus drawing maps that exclude certain racial groups? Maybe I didn't word
Well,
that
my
right.
understanding and what came up in this case is you are allowed to draw maps that are based on partisan concerns, that you are sort of openly saying, as Texas did, I would like to make it so that Republicans maybe more comfortably hold their majority in the U.S. House of Representatives. Where you get into problems is if it feels like you're instead making decisions based on wanting districts to be a certain racial makeup. And so you're supposed to be somewhat race blind in this redistricting process. But as we've spoken about on your show before, that racial aspect is also being considered right now in a case that the Supreme Court is hearing on the merits called Louisiana v. Calais, where there's this question of, okay, you're not supposed to consider race in redistricting, but what if a court has told you that your maps have silenced certain racial groups, and so then you need to redraw them to give those racial groups a bigger voice? How can you do that without paying attention to race? And so redistricting is incredibly complicated, and it's very much in flux right now from the Supreme Court.
Thank you, Kelsey. That was Kelsey Dallas, a managing editor of SCOTUS blog. And by the way, she explains things so much better than I do. That even though she says it's confusing, she makes it very clear. So we appreciate her joining the show. When we come back after the break, the Pentagon announced another strike against an alleged drug-carrying boat in the eastern Pacific Ocean. This comes as lawmakers react to classified briefing on the controversial September 2nd strikes targeting a vessel near Venezuela. We'll talk about that and sort of the legal analysis of that when we come back after this.
What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and if you have a drain that's clogged or backed up, after you've tried the plungers and products, the next step usually involves some kind of drain snake or cabling equipment. You see, sometimes the blockage is far enough down the line that you need special equipment that most homeowners just don't have. That's where the Drains Department at Any Hour Services can help. A drain snake can clear most blockages and get the water flowing again, and clearing blocked drains is what our Drains Department does day in and day out. So if you're a homeowner with a drain line that's clogged or backed up and you'd like one of our drain technicians to come and snake the line for you, it's only $29. Yep, you heard that right. Any Hour Services will snake any drain line with normal access for only $29. Sinks, showers, tubs, toilets, floor drains, laundry drains, even that sewer main line that connects to the city. We'll snake any line for just $29. For help with your drain issues, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7700. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
You trust us for news and information in your car. Now trust us at home. KSL News Radio has you covered, keeping you informed on the latest breaking news, weather, traffic, sports, and more. Listen on your Amazon Echo or Google Home device. Just say, Alexa, open KSL News Radio. Or listen on the KSL News Radio Listen app. Text the word app to 57500. KSL News Radio. We have you covered.
Well, if you look outside, you can see winter is here, and that means a lot of Utah kids don't have the warm coats and sturdy shoes they need to get through the cold months ahead. KSL's Quarters for Christmas has been helping local children for years, turning your donations into warm coats and shoes for kids right here in our community. Every dollar you give goes directly to providing coats and shoes for kids who need them most. It's easy to make a difference. Just please go online to kslquarters.com, donate what you can, and know that you're helping keep a child warm this winter. Join us in spreading a little comfort and a lot of kindness with KSL's Quarters for Christmas.
Progressive presents a testimonial of sorts.
Hey, slow down!
Oh, yeah? Well, you drive like my grandma. She's a very attentive and courteous driver who wears a seatbelt and always uses her turn signals. She's also a talented painter and has very low cholesterol. Not that that has anything to do with her drive. We just thought a more complete picture of who she is might be interesting. Anyway, have a nice day.
Safe driver? Get Snapshot from Progressive and get a personalized rate based on how you drive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Utah can count on.
Calling all Jazz fans. If you can't wait another second to see stars like Ace Bailey and Lowry Markkanen tear up the court, you're in luck. Tickets are on sale now. Let's go! No matter what you're looking for, the Utah Jazz has your back. With season tickets, mini plans, and single game options available, there's something for everyone. Whatever your schedule or budget, there's a plan for every fan. Don't miss a moment of the action this season. Secure your tickets today at utahjazz.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS for Kids. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Hurry! It's our last chance to donate for 2025.
And expanded Inside Sources.
I should mention that in terms of the expanded Inside Sources today, my co-host, you probably wonder, because we're an hour into the show, you haven't heard from Holly Richardson yet. It's because she's not here, as she's a little under the weather today, and so as she's asked for the day off. I'm sure she'll be back Monday. Wish you best, Holly. Hope you're listening to us. By the way, she did line us out. She does this blog every day, Utah Policy, and we get a lot of our information, a lot of our stories and whatnot that from her. So she actually did contribute to the show about as much as anyone as we were preparing today. So there's some new developments in this boat strike debacle. The Pentagon has announced another strike against an alleged drug-carrying boat, this time in the eastern Pacific Ocean. This comes just as lawmakers are trying to react to a classified briefing on a controversial September 2nd strike attacking a boat vessel near Venezuela. Let's hear from ABC News Chief Global Affairs Correspondent Martha Raddatz.
The Pentagon releasing video showing a new strike against a suspected drug boat. This, the 22nd in a series of operations that have killed dozens of people. President Trump has labeled drug trafficking terrorists. The administration has yet to publicly provide evidence that any of those boats were carrying narcotics bound for the U.S.
And that has recently caused lawmakers from both sides to kind of get into the weeds a little bit. The first couple of boat strikes didn't seem to bother anyone. They were alleged to be drug runners. People were concerned that they were bringing drugs into our country. They were intercepted in a way that, they were blown up. People were killed. I think we're up to some 80 plus, maybe close to 90 individuals killed in what I think she just described as 22 attacks on these boats. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill are taking a look at this and kind of wondering who's in charge and what Pete Hegseth may have done with respect to what we call a second shooting on a boat that was allegedly smuggling drugs in September. Here's Martha Raddatz again.
On Thursday, lawmakers were shown video of multiple strikes against one suspected drug boat from September 2nd, which killed 2 survivors, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and Admiral Mitch Bradley, the commander who directed the strikes, facing intense questioning from lawmakers.
So that one was a particularly troubling, and we'll back up just a minute and talk about other strikes. But in terms of the strikes that have been on these boats, there has been some concern. A, are they drug runners? And B, what information did the United States have at the time these boats were intercepted and attacked? This particular case on September 2nd adds a different equation to this because there was what we call a second strike. So the boat was hit, it was blown up, it was completely useless, and there's video of 2 individuals sort of clinging to the boat. It looked like they were trying to turn it over or try to get somehow back into the boat or back out of the water, I should say. And there was a second strike that killed the 2 individuals. Now, we heard that Admiral Bradley and Pete Hegseth are both under the gun a little bit. And to some extent, and I don't want to overstate this, they're maybe a little bit pointing fingers at each other. The Admiral is saying, I was given orders to make sure there were no survivors. And Hegseth saying, hey, somebody said, take a second shot at this. It wasn't me. So we don't know how that came about. But the question becomes, and I think we're going to be talking about this for a long time, who's responsible for that? Just in terms of that controversy and who gave the order, here's more from ABC's Andrea Fujii.
Lawmakers from both parties say Admiral Bradley told them Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth did not give an order at the mission's outset to kill everyone on the boat. Hegseth says he only watched the first strike and did not learn about the other 3 until hours later.
So we gotta figure out who ordered it and why this second strike. But I want to digress for a minute because I started this and I didn't finish. There's some concern about the striking these boats in the first place, and I'm looking at the Constitution. I'm looking at some international law in terms of what can and should be done. And let me say this at the outset: there's some concern. There's some comments that these were fishing boats. It's hard to imagine these are fishing boats just by looking at their makeup, their speed, the way they're traveling. I mean, they don't seem to be regular fishing boats. These seem to be some pretty high-power, high-speed boats, kind of open-air boats. But I don't know. I don't know enough about fishing in that particular part of the country to say. So let's just assume that the administration has some fairly good information that they are drug-running boats. That would give them at least a little bit up in terms of what do we do about it? So we kind of digress and say, okay, well, what about this war on drugs? If there's a war, you can shoot the enemy combatant. That's one thing. There is no declared war on drugs. We talk about the war on drugs. Congress has never declared a war on drugs. I don't know that they could. Back in 1971, then President Nixon declared drug abuse public enemy number 1, and then launched what he called the federal war on drugs. I just want to be clear that does not mean that we're at war with drug cartels, and maybe to some extent we are. So then we sort of shift gears a little bit and say, okay, when we do believe that there are drugs coming into the country, especially in a boat like this, what can be done? And historically, the Coast Guard has intercepted the boats, talked to the people operating the boat, been able to jump in and search the boat, and if there are drugs, obviously an arrest is made. If they're not, they go on their way. That hasn't happened. Instead, they've sort of, strike first and ask questions later. And the lawyer in me sort of looks at this and goes, okay, is there a due process issue here? And I think, well, does due process even apply? Or is the due process clause of the Fifth Amendment only limited to citizens of the United States? And the answer to that is no. Everybody, in fact, it says, everyone's entitled to due process of law. And I guess that can be construed to mean people who are illegally running drugs into this country. And I'll shift gears just another degree here, and that is to say that I've been working in the legal career for 43 years. I actually brought the concept of drug court to Utah back in 1995. A group of us proposed that, and so we've been on the front, I would have to say, of this war on drugs for 40 some odd years, and I think by and large, certainly here in Utah, we do a great job of that. And we're not talking about boats coming into Utah, obviously, but we do the best we can with drugs. And I've seen the marijuana shifting to cocaine, shifting to methamphetamine. Now we're looking at opioids, and we're getting into even fentanyl. It seems like every decade there's sort of the drug of the decade, and we try to do what we can about it. But there is an overriding consideration that most of these drugs are coming in from overseas. And so the United States government is saying, if that's the case, we need to do something about it. We need to stop these boats from coming in. I don't know when and to what extent these inquiries are going to go, and whether or not they're going to be, Hegseth and others are going to be told, don't strike these boats anymore. Maybe Congress is going to jump in. Is the international court in The Hague going to jump in and say, hey, you guys have committed a war crime here? Of course, the United States is not a party to that, so I don't know that they necessarily have jurisdiction over us. But boy, this is a hard one from every perspective to look at and say, did you really have enough evidence to shoot and kill people in a boat simply because they're coming toward the United States? It looks like there's at least probable cause to believe they were doing that, but is that enough to do what was done here? And so I applaud the bipartisan effort on Congress to at least take a look at that, and we'll see where that goes and whether or not these strikes will stop. When we come back, we're learning more about a double homicide in Saratoga Springs. Jessica Lyman and her 8-year-old son, Eli Painter, were shot and killed back in March. Now we're seeing some unsealed search warrants and learning a lot more about that investigation. We'll talk about that next.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
KSL News Radio, I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour, the Wasatch County Sheriff's Office says a 2-year-old died after being found in a small pond in Charleston last weekend. The child was flown to Primary Children's Hospital in Salt Lake City and died in the early hours of November 29th. Investigators say the investigation is still ongoing as to how the child ended up in the water, and the family is asking for privacy as they grieve. Our top national story now from ABC News. The CDC Vaccine Advisory Panel has voted to recommend changes to when newborns receive the hepatitis B vaccine. Since 1991, babies have received the vaccine on the day they were born. But today, the Vaccine Advisory Panel voted to leave the decision up to parents of when to get the shot.
Since 1991, when we got a universal recommendation, cases of hepatitis B in this country have dropped from 95 to 99%. Hundreds of studies recently were pulled together in a review to show that this shot is extremely effective and it's very safe, and moving that goal line can put a lot more children at risk when they don't need to be.
ABC News medical contributor Dr. Alok Patel says the vaccine is very effective at preventing babies from contracting hepatitis B, and it has contributed to plummeting infections over the years. Your money at this moment. The Dow is up 98 points right now. That's 0.2%. We're at 47,949. Coming up, more rain and snow on the way. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:02. Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370. 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
You know, most diets will help you lose a few pounds, but Soda weight loss will help you lose years. I lost 37 pounds on the Soda weight loss program 3 years ago, and I feel younger than I've felt in decades. And it's not because of how I look, it's because of how I feel.
But you do look younger,
Thank
too.
you.
I let go of 70 pounds in 5 months, and then I looked at the before and after pictures of myself and was like, wow.
It's something when you don't have to carry all of that excess weight around. And I was at a stage in my life where I didn't want to add drugs to my regimen. I wanted to reduce the number of medications I had to take. So the nutritionist at Soda Weight Loss taught me how to have a healthy relationship with food.
And it was so helpful that I could text my nutritionist anytime I wanted to for advice, which helped me learn what I needed to know so that I could keep it off. And right now, this is the perfect time to join, because if you join now, your partner joins for free. It's the perfect gift for both of you.
It's at Soda Weight Loss.
SOTAweightloss.com, because soda is, say it with me, Amanda, state of the art.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. And here's Cormac Bone.
Well, the crash on northbound I-15 approaching 13th South mostly cleared out. We still have a disabled vehicle in the right shoulder. We are seeing the delays start to die out, still starting around the I-80-201 interchange, but it's pretty light as they cleared that off the road. Pioneer Crossing delays getting a bit heavier in the construction. You have spotty slowdowns both east and westbound from Saratoga Road to the I-15 interchange. And we do still have a crash on the northbound off-ramp at 700 North on I-215's West Belt. No delays, but just give them some space as you get off the freeway. The Good Feet store, supporting you with comfort no matter what the day brings. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
The KSL Weather Center says the temperatures are rising right now, so the next wave of the storm will be mostly rain in the valleys tonight and tomorrow. But it should drop a significant amount of snow in the mountains, and then we start to dry out on Sunday. Right now, it's 36 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
We are learning some new details about a double homicide case that occurred in Saratoga Springs on March 28th of this year, so it's been some time. Jessica Lyman and her 8-year-old son Eli Painter were found shot in their home in Saratoga Springs. There has been quite a flurry of investigation and work that's been done on that case since that time. It's been 7 or 8 months. And recently, a number of search warrants have been unsealed. And let me just tell you about the legality of that. When officers want to do a search of a home, obviously they want to do it appropriately, so they'll often get a search warrant. In this case, they've done 4 search warrants, including search warrants to homes, to laptops, to sort of technical items. And there are a number of search warrants that have been done here. Because of the law, those search warrants have to be disclosed at some point, and so they've been unsealed. I mean, they've been sealed for some time. There's still an ongoing investigation, but we've been able to read those, and I've tried to read the 4 search warrants. And this is a troubling case on a number of levels. What happened was a daughter of the deceased, and I suppose sister of the other deceased, came home. She noticed that there was blood on the pillow. Her mother and sister were lying there. She didn't know their condition. Called the police. They came. The mother was critical at that time, although she passed away later on. And there had been another resident in the house at the time that this allegedly occurred. He was gone, and so some of the focus of the investigation shifted toward that individual. During the investigation, and just looking at some of the things that were found in these search warrants, there's a couple of interesting things. One, that whoever was in the house and may have done this was wearing a Nike slipper. I don't know what you call it. It's called a slider shoe. I guess that means you can slide right into it. They found the left shoe at the homicide scene. They found a right shoe in another home where they were searching for the individual. So they found what appears to be, and I guess these are somewhat distinct, a pair of shoes, but one shoe was in one location and one shoe's in the other. That would seem to be information that would be helpful for the police. They were looking for a small caliber gun. It looks like it may have been a .22, which is one of the smaller caliber handgun or rifle or handgun, whatever, that is used for hunting and shooting and whatnot. They didn't find the gun, although they did find at the homicide scene, 2 shell cartridges. In other words, a gun had been fired there and it left the casing behind. And then they found other evidence of similar bullets at another scene with another house where they did an investigation. So they've got slider shoes that are found in 2 different places. They've got bullets, and I guess 22s can be anywhere, but there is something distinct about some of the cartridges that are used, different manufacturers and different makes, and maybe even fingerprints. Who knows what they found? They also found a backpack, and this is another kind of bizarre angle to this. But a couple was walking around near the property and found a backpack sort of just laying there, almost in the open. It was in some reeds near the Jordan River. They looked in the backpack, and inside it, the detectives found some red-colored dried substance on some rubber gardening gloves. And, of course, they tested that for blood. They thought that may be blood. A beanie-style hat, a flashlight, headlamp, neck gaiter, face mask, and a specific kind of mask that had like a white white skull and jaw painted on it. And there's also a lot of animal hair in the backpack. And so what they've done, of course, law enforcement looks at what was found there, and they look at the animal. Let's start with the animal hair. It's similar to the hair that the cat and dog at the house where the homicide occurred had. So they've done a check of that. The beanie cap had some what appeared to be human hair on the inside of the hat. The mask appeared to be consistent with a mask that was worn by a suspicious male immediately after the homicide. And so they've got this, because so many people in this day and age have these doorbell cameras. They sort of went down the street, and there were different neighbors along the walkway that had their doorbell cameras going, and they have different shots of some individual that appears to be leaving the house where the homicide took place. They see him or her walking. The shoe looks familiar to the one that was found at the scene, and the mask looks familiar to the one that was found in the backpack. So they're putting together a pretty good case. The blood, or what was suspected blood, came back negative. It wasn't human blood. The crime scene was pretty gruesome too, and I won't get into the details of that. But what they found was really a problematic crime scene. It seems that they are focused on this one individual who may have been at the house at the time. And let me just say this also. The crime is alleged to have occurred on March 28th, 2025. We're now, December 5th. So it's been some time. Then there's been no arrest. And that has obviously caused some consternation. I mean, we just had a press conference, 2 or 3 days ago about the No Kings rally, and that was something that occurred in June, where the district attorney's office finally made a decision to charge an individual, the peacekeeper, with a manslaughter. Some people were concerned that took 5 months. This one is even longer than that, and this is a double homicide. So obviously the people in Utah County are concerned about, well, what's going on and how does this investigation go? The police, I think, and I'm reading between the lines here, probably feel that they know who the suspect is, that person isn't an ongoing threat to the community, although he's not in custody, and they're wanting to make sure that they get their case done correctly. So they're taking their time at doing this right, and I'm assuming they've got the county attorney's blessing behind them and that they're working the case as best they can. But these 4 search warrants and the underlying probable cause in the search warrant, because in America, when you apply for a search warrant, you have to give a judge information, it's called probable cause, as to why the items you're looking for could be there. It's part of what the Fourth Amendment requires. Probable cause to believe the items seized or the person to be arrested are there. So you say, okay, we believe that there's a crime. We believe there's some information here because of this evidence. And this evidence is what's really telling about these search warrants. And it's not even the search warrant. It's what we call the affidavit. And I'm getting into the weeds here. But when you apply for a search warrant, you have to provide information to the judge saying, here's why we want this search warrant. Here's our probable cause. It's a statement. It's an affidavit. It's whatever you want to call it that supports the issuance of the search warrant. And so when you read that, you learn a lot about the case. The search warrant just says, go search the house and look for A, B, C, and D. But the why and the wherefore is what's in the affidavit. And that's what everybody always wants to find. That's what we all want to read. Well, what evidence do they have? And so these probable cause statements, these affidavits, are really telling. Again, I won't get into the gruesomeness of it, but I would assume just from reading and what's been released that something's going to be done on this case fairly soon. I kind of reached out to the Utah County Attorney's Office this morning. I didn't hear from them, but I wouldn't have expected to. It's an ongoing investigation, and I think when they're ready to do something and announce charges, they'll do so. My guess is that'll be sooner rather than later. But boy, a real problematic scene. Double homicide at a home in Saratoga Springs. Jessica Lyman and her 8-year-old son Eli Painter found shot in their home back in March. Just a tragic, tragic story. And speaking of which, we have what seems like a lot of auto pedestrian accidents here in Utah lately. And as the days get shorter and darker, they seem to increase. The Utah Department of Public Safety is now sounding the alarm for more pedestrian safety for the winter months. The Utah Highway Patrol joins us on the line after this.
The holidays are just around the corner, and Western Nut Company is here to make your gifting a breeze. From our beautiful gift baskets and nut boxes to our famous in-house fudge and brittle, we've got treats for every taste bud, crafted with the highest quality ingredients. Corporate gifting, that's our specialty. Just send us your list and we'll handle the rest. Beautifully packed, shipped with care, and guaranteed to impress. Calling all office managers or executive assistants. Call Western Nut now and let us make your holidays a little less nuts. But we actually do want you to eat more nuts. For 60 years, Western Nut has been a proud Utah tradition. Stop by our downtown shop for unique gifts, glittering ornaments, festive decor, and so much more. Western Nut Company, more than just the best gifts in Utah. We're a holiday tradition, in-store or online at westernut.com, where quality meets tradition, and every gift is packed with love.
The movie show coming live today from Minky Couture in Layton. They've got the doors open, and Lisa, it seems like every time we come here, even if it's summer somehow, we get a nice cold, snowy day that reminds you why a Minky blanket is such a perfect gift.
Yes.
You guys plan this. I don't know how you do this.
I know. We just work it out so well. But it is, right? And at Minky Couture, we are here to make your holidays magical. We have so many wonderful gifts really for anyone that's on your gift list, we have got you covered here at Minky Couture with the perfect gift.
Well, your guys' theme is best gift ever is your
It
motto.
is,
So
yes.
a lot of people know this, but for people who haven't, you got to come in. It's so much better to come into the store and actually get your fingers on a blanket. They look great online, and it's easy to order online, so
Yes.
let's not discount that. But coming into one of the stores and putting your hands on the softest thing you've ever felt and thinking, ooh, what would this feel like wrapped around me on my bed?
Yes, absolutely. And you're right. Minky Couture is something to experience, right? We have so many different styles and textures that can be harder to, get a feel for online. So really coming into the store, you really get to just experience everything. See sizes. Yes, we've got sizes from our Grande. That's our largest size. It's a 5x7. So if you've got someone on your Christmas list that's over 6 feet tall, we still have them covered as well.
I'm just going to put a plug in for the Grande Hug. When you come into the store, whatever you're looking for, say, I need to see the Grande Hug. And right now is the best time to come do it because you guys always take such good care of movie show listeners.
Yes, we love your listeners. And so we do have an exclusive offer today. You can shop with code MOVIE55, and that will give you 55 off any full price blankets, including that Hugs Grande Minky that Andy was just talking about.
and you can get more than 2 for $1. You can just, if it's the one that you always wanted, but you're like, I just don't have that in my budget. Well, right now you do have it in your budget because the 55% off is an incredible deal. Now, is that deal good only today?
That will go through the weekend. So if you can't make it into a store, you want to shop online, you can use that code online or in any of our 7 store locations.
Okay, so minkycouture.com, COUTURE. You don't know French. But just come into one of the locations. We're in Layton. Come in and say hi to us today while you look over this amazing selection. And, we'll talk about some of the new offerings you got.
We've got lots of things coming up, yes.
Some good stuff coming up.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with a sun protection factor, or SPF, of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. UVA rays age the skin, UVB rays burn, and both cause cancer. But the perfect sunscreen doesn't count if you use it wrong. Don't need sunscreen on a cloudy day? Wrong. 80% of UV rays still get through the haze. Only use sunscreen at the beach? Nope. Anytime you're outside, UV rays attack the skin, so you need protection. And you have to reapply sunscreen every 2 hours. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
When it comes to vaping, the truth can get clouded. So let's make it clear. Vaping is not safe for kids, teens, or young adults. It's just not.
Because vaping can put microscopic particles into your lungs.
And dangerous things like metals and volatile organic compounds into your body.
And nicotine, the same highly addictive substance found in regular cigarettes.
Nicotine can harm a person's brain development through their mid-20s.
Affecting learning, memory, attention, and impulse control, and priming the brain for other addictions.
Vaping products also come in kid-friendly flavors that can make them appealing to youth.
And many kids also use other drugs, like marijuana, in vaping devices. With appealing flavors, high nicotine levels, and lots of promotion on social media,
many kids think vaping is harmless, but it's not.
So talk to your kids about the risks of vaping, because when you talk, they hear you.
For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Need to replace your Social Security card? In most states, you can request one online with a My Social Security account. A My Social Security account gives you secure access to your personal earnings history and benefit status. You can also get a proof of income letter, estimate and apply for benefits, and more. Save time. Go online. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security. Securing today and tomorrow.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
And expanded Inside Sources. Inside Sources.
You know, it's that time of year when we have shorter daylight hours. It seems like people are operating their cars coming home when it's getting dark. A lot of people are out shopping right now, walking around, being involved in getting their Christmas work done. And we've had so many pedestrian accidents involving pedestrian vehicle crashes so far in 2025. We've recorded 35 pedestrian fatalities and 976 pedestrian-involved crashes. More than half of those crashes occurred at intersections or in marked crosswalks. And last year, this year, 4 pedestrians have been hit and killed just since November 23rd, according to the Department of Public Safety, and all of those were in dark or low-light conditions. So it's really been a problem. Last year, 9 pedestrians were killed last December. 8 of those deaths happened in the dark. So it's not a good time of year, and it's especially time of year when we need to be on guard. So we have with us Sergeant Mike Alexander, who's been a friend of the show in the past from the Utah Highway Patrol. Mike, thanks for joining us this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate your time.
What can we say, what can you tell our listeners about this time of year especially, and why it is? I mean, we always have to be careful of pedestrians. There's no question about it. But why it is right now that this is a time of year when we seem to be having more of these fatalities and accidents than we do at other times?
Well, I think there's a number of factors. I do think we have an increase in pedestrians going on right now just because of the shopping. You know, we've got a lot of people walking to and from destinations, trying to pick up Christmas gifts and visit relatives and things. But we're also in that time where we've fairly recently experienced daylight savings time, and we're used to driving so frequently in the dark hours or in some of those twilight hours between, daytime and nighttime or nighttime to daytime, and so we're still adjusting. Our eyes are still getting used to the dark nighttime hour type driving, and sometimes it's a little bit of an adjustment, and it's a shared responsibility between us as drivers and pedestrians as well.
Yeah, and let's talk about that shared responsibility, Sergeant Alexander. Are most of the accidents, they're all preventable, virtually all of them. I can't think of any reason why they couldn't be, but are they more, if you had to pick one side or the other, more the responsibility of the car, the operator of the vehicle, or the pedestrian who's sort of walking out in places they shouldn't, or is there a pretty equal mix of both?
Yeah, to be honest, that's a great question. I honestly think it's, again, a shared responsibility. I think there's probably some equal responsibility. We do have some instances where pedestrians were hit by vehicles because they were either not in a crosswalk at all or they were using a crosswalk improperly. And we have instances where, we have a violation of the driver who just failed to yield or did not see the pedestrian. And again, there's things that pedestrians can do to make themselves a little bit more visible, and there's things that drivers can do to bring their attention back to driving and away from some of the distractions that I think, pull our attention away from where it should be.
And it's not that easy, is it, Sergeant, for a pedestrian to say, okay, I've got the green light and I'm in a crosswalk, I'm going to go for it. I mean, you still got to stop and look both ways, right?
Yeah. And, sometimes I think some of us have a bit of a sense of entitlement where, we get the crosswalk, we get the little walking person symbol across the street, and we're like, okay, I have the right of way, it's time to go. So then you just start going, and if you're that pedestrian, it's definitely imperative for you to be looking both ways still, be observant, look at the drivers, make eye contact, and make yourself as visible as possible. You know, utilize your phone, turn your phone flashlight on, move it around so that it's more visible, have some reflective gear on. Things like that will absolutely aid your safety in crossing the road.
You know, one thing I've personally seen a little bit, Sergeant Alexander, just driving, is pedestrians sort of walking along the side of the road, maybe on the shoulder, or maybe close to the traffic area, and wearing dark clothes, walking in the same direction as traffic. I mean, sometimes you don't see them until you're right on top of them. I mean, pedestrians have some obligation, I suppose, too, don't they, to maybe wear reflective clothing or do something other than just walk really close to the vehicles?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's important if you are going to be out in those twilight or nighttime hours, those hours of darkness. It is important to make yourself as visible as possible and to be where you should be. You know, if you're on the shoulder of the road, that's not typically a safe place to be. But if there's a sidewalk, if there's some kind of trail nearby, that would be absolutely much better for you than the shoulder of some road. And if you have reflective clothing, if you have lighting, there's very simple, very inexpensive lighting options that you can wear. They have headbands. They have, beanie caps now that have lights on them. They have lighted jackets. They have reflective jackets. They have all of these things, vests. There's just so many resources, and things as simple as like a snap bracelet that's reflective can aid in their ability to see, because in the darkness, if you're wearing dark clothing, you just blend right into the rest of the darkness.
Well, you're right, and it makes all the difference in the world if you're coming up on somebody, a bicyclist or just a pedestrian that's got some reflective clothing. You can see that. And let me shift gears for just a minute. We've only got a couple of minutes left, Sergeant. And that is, it seems to me, and maybe I'm wrong, that we've had a fair number of hit and runs lately in Utah. And I maybe we're just being made aware of them, but is that a problem that the Highway Patrol is seeing right now?
The Highway Patrol in general, I don't think our department is. However, it definitely has been more frequent in the news lately, it seems.
Yeah.
And so again, if you're a driver and if you strike something with your vehicle, even if you don't know that it's a person, because that is sometimes a plausible situation. If you don't see what it is that you hit, it's important for you to pull over and see, right? So do so in the safest manner as possible, but don't just drive away. You have a duty and a responsibility as a driver, as part of your driver privilege, to make sure that everything is safe in the situation.
All right, thank you. That was Sergeant Mike Alexander with the Utah Highway Patrol, giving us some information on just being safe this time of year. The light gets dim. I mean, when you're leaving home from work at 5 o'clock, it's not sunny like it was 6 months ago. And as the light gets down, it's hard to see pedestrians. It's hard to see, even as you're approaching intersections, even if you're approaching crosswalks, just be especially careful this time of year, even more than you are in the rest of the year. And if you're a pedestrian, be aware drivers can't see you all the time. I mean, we've got to put an end to this, or at least do what we can to get those numbers down. And the hit and runs are just, in my opinion, inexcusable. When we come back after the break, we had a lot of discussion this week about open carrying and people being able to carry firearms in the public. It involved the No Kings rally, of course, and the district attorney's office explanation of that. And I thought he gave a good explanation as to the law. But some lawmakers are considering changing that and making some restrictions on individuals' ability to carry guns in certain public venues. We'll talk with a gun expert after the break.
.30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. We're now just one day away from the Big 12 championship game between BYU and Texas Tech, and the stakes couldn't be higher. BYU will clinch a spot in the college football playoff if they can pull off the upset, and BYU wide receiver Chase Roberts says they believe they're going to do it.
We're going to go out and we're going to play for BYU and the fans and our loved ones, and for Kalani and all the coaches and our players and brothers that we've, gone through blood, sweat, and tears with.
Kickoff from Arlington, Texas is tomorrow at 10 a.m. We'll have extended pregame coverage starting at 8 o'clock, as well as a special edition of Cougar Sports Saturday tonight from 7 to 9 right here on KSL News Radio. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Netflix announced this morning it's buying one of the most prominent movie studios in the world.
Bridgerton meet The Gilded Age. Netflix now says they've struck a definitive agreement to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery, the home to hit TV shows like The Sopranos, Game of Thrones, and The White Lotus. The deal also includes Warner Brothers' extensive collection of movies, ranging from modern hits like Sinners to classics like The Wizard of Oz. As part of the deal, Netflix has committed to putting new WB movies in theaters, something it's resisted with its own library of content. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
ABC's Mike Dubusky says Netflix outbid Comcast and Paramount to buy Warner Brothers. Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 60 points right now. We're at 47,911. Coming up, wave 2 of the storm tonight. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 1032. A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
From Minky Couture, and we're in the Layton location, but it's only one of 7 locations where you can go in today and get an incredible discount on what Lisa and I like to call the best gift ever.
Yes, yes. At Minky Couture, we are the original luxury, blanket here in Utah, and we're so excited to help make your holidays extra special this year. You can come into any one of our store locations, or you can shop online if that's easier, but we have got literally a gift for everyone on your Christmas list.
Including pets.
Yes. We've got pet couture items, so you can take care of your furry babies as well. Something new to Minky Couture this year is our collegiate collection, right? So we were just talking about the big game on Saturday.
We were just talking about BYU playing, yes.
And
wouldn't you love to watch the game wrapped in a giant BYU Minky blanket?
Yes,
and
you
would.
Better hurry, because BYU has been our top-selling collegiate blanket, and they're going quick.
Can you get them for 55% off?
They aren't part of the promo just because the licensing commission regulates the pricing there.
Okay.
But they are at a sell price. It's just a set sell price in store or online.
So there is a deal to be had on the BYU Minky.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yep. So that's a great gift. Our Hugs collection, Minky Couture is the original, creator of the Hugs blanket. It's our most popular collection by far. We were talking about that in the earlier segment. It's Andy's favorite.
It's not weighted like with weights in it, but it's a heavy blanket that scrunches around you.
Yes,
and
literally feels like it's hugging you back. So you can bring the ultimate gift of comfort to everybody on your Christmas list with one of our Hugs blankets.
Now, what about your Christmas collection really quick? What designs do you have? You always have new designs every year, right?
Yes, each year we do a new holiday collection. We've got a nutcracker, snowflakes, candy canes, Christmas trees, Christmas cookies, right? Like everything that you can think of for the holidays. And it's just a fun addition to help bring a little bit more of that Christmas spirit and magic to your home decor. It's just a fun way. People love to collect them every year. We seem to, people are like, oh, what's the new one I can add to my collection? So very fun.
Well, I'm looking at them and they're gorgeous. So 55 is the discount you can use this weekend to get 55% off a regular price Minky. If you do want the Stadium collection, and they do have more than BYU, if you have other fans on your list, they do have a sale price on that, but it is not part of the Movie 55 collection. 7 locations at Minky Couture or online at minkycouture.com.
KSL News Radio congratulates the BYU Cougars on an incredible 11-1 season and their invitation to the Big 12 Championship game. Celebrate with KSL during a special edition of Cougar Sports Saturday this Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. Brought to you by BMW of Pleasant Grove. And you can experience the pinnacle of automotive innovation at BMW of Pleasant Grove on West Grove Parkway or online at bmwofpg.com. Your ultimate driving machine awaits.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. And here's Cormac Bone.
Construction causing our worst delays across the Salt Lake Valley right now. First in Lehigh on Pioneer Crossing. It's slow and go in both directions between I-15 and Saratoga Road. Just a little spotty, nothing too horrible. Then in Lake Point on northbound SR36, lane restrictions at the merge with I-80 causing the buildup starting near Sunset Road. And then on State Street in Salt Lake, road maintenance is blocking the right lane at 700 South. The Garden Restaurant in downtown Salt Lake. Dine in or order out. The Garden is open weekdays with special fall hours. Hearty, healthy, and so craveable. Fresh flavors, iconic location. The Garden Restaurant. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Our high today will be around 40 degrees. That snow turned to rain, so we have rain now off and on through this evening into tomorrow. So the mountains will get lots of snow, but we'll get rain here in the valley. And then we start a warming trend that'll take us back into the 50s by midweek next week. Right now, we do have light rain and 35 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
We're hearing that there's some push, maybe, or at least some interest with Utah legislators to restrict long guns, which I would describe as rifles, shotguns, at rallies and protests. And this follows, of course, what happened at the shooting at the No Kings rally in Salt Lake City. My own involvement, just for the sake of full disclosure, is I represent Arturo Gamboa, who is the individual that was carrying a long gun, and his carrying of that gun obviously caused the district attorney's office to have a second look at this and to say, okay, in light of that, what should we do? We did learn from the district attorney that he's going to make the following charges.
We are filing one count of second-degree manslaughter against Matt Alder, and also formally declining any charges against Mr. Arturo Gamboa.
Now, the district attorney weighed the problems that they had with investigating this case because of Utah's open carry law and because of the fact that one individual is carrying a gun, another individual sees that person and reacts. And what can that reaction be? What's the appropriate reaction? So one of our representatives is considering some legislation regarding long guns. Let's take a few minutes and hear from Representative Mauga about this proposal. That representative spoke with KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera recently.
After what happened to Afa, after the tragic shooting and his death, it was really reflecting on what can we do as Utahns to make public spaces safe for everyone to enjoy. And so as I thought about that and had conversations with his family and other stakeholders and community members, I decided to open up a bill file. And what this bill would do is it would make it so that you can't carry a long gun within so many feet of a rally or a protest. And it doesn't mean you can't conceal, you definitely can. It's just that what happened to Afa was because of someone's reaction to someone having their long gun. And I'm a gun owner myself, and as a gun owner, I think we have to think about what responsible gun ownership looks like. And for me, Arturo had every right to open carry his long gun at that rally. Anywhere he wants to, he can. It's within his legal rights. But again, I think we have to think about what safety looks like and what our responsibility to each other should be. And so I opened this bill file in hopes of, one, having a meaningful conversation with all stakeholders, even those who I know will oppose this bill, but I think it's important that we talk about what things we can do and what measured policies we can create to ensure that things like this don't happen. And I know that things like this will happen, but we have to do our part to try and prevent some of it. I would hate for someone else's husband or father or loved one to be lost in a way like this. Like, we experience this here in Utah in a very public setting. And I think, again, that it's all of our responsibilities to talk about in what ways we can, talk about public safety and put some safeguards up.
So we do have with us Clark Aposhian, chairman of the Utah Shooting Sports Council. Clark, thanks for joining us this morning.
Hi, Greg. Hey, I'm co-hosting with you. That's
Well,
what Caitlin said.
that would be great. There's a seat open today, by the way, with your name on it. So I'd love to work with you.
All right, fantastic.
Hey,
so, let's chat.
Yeah, go ahead. So I wanted to talk to you. Sim Gill indicated that he was part of the reason it took him so long to make charging decision here is because he was concerned about Utah's open carry law. A legislator, as you may have just heard, is saying, well, maybe we need to redefine it. And her definition of redefining it wasn't particularly clear, but it related to long guns, rifles and shotguns, I guess, and open carrying as opposed to concealed carry. Tell me what you think about that proposal, and would it even fly in face of the Second Amendment?
Well, we did come out as opposed to the proposal. However, this is what we do. We talk. We address the issue, and we certainly respect Representative Malga for bringing this and showing quite a bit of great leadership to bring this to the table and let's chat. So we don't, we don't really have an open carry affirmative law. We just don't have a law that restricts the otherwise open carry of it. Now, we do have some restrictions on, if you don't have a permit and you're 18 to 20, it's got to be unloaded and so on and so forth, and some of these things. But as far as open carry, we just don't have a law that really restricts it. However, with that being said, if we look at the disorderly conduct, so we called it. We figured it was going to be 6-7 months ago. It was going to be a manslaughter charge against Alder. And that's what we kind of figured from looking at it. We also thought there would be a disorderly conduct charge against Gamboa.
No,
because if you look at the statute, it says the only protection somebody that has a gun that's causing that could cause fear and concern in an otherwise lawful manner, though, would be if it's holstered or encased, and his gun at the moment of engagement was not holstered or encased. No, it doesn't say it was pointed at anybody. But if we're going to look at anything, I'd probably look at the disorderly conduct statute as opposed to doing some more carve-outs to where you can carry, where you can't carry, with its 500 feet, 200 feet, long guns. What if a person has a long gun and they're slung and they're not part of the rally and the rally moves towards them and they're now within that 500 feet? What if it's a pro-gun rally? There's all sorts of different things, but that's why we come to the table. That's why we respect Representative Malga's effort on this.
So Utah does provide, and I appreciate what you say about the whole open carry thing, that maybe there's some restrictions there. There can be, Clark, some restrictions in terms of like going into the Delta Center or going to church or going to school and things like that. Can you we've only got about a minute left, tell our listeners what restrictions can apply?
Yeah, so when you're in a public place, schools are different, universities, actually universities aren't different anymore, but schools K through 12, to be even on the property, you got to have a Utah-issued concealed carry permit. You've got to be 21, not the provisional permit doesn't work. Delta Center private places can restrict anything basically that they want, including firearms, whether concealed carry, whether it's open or whatever. They can restrict that because you are basically operating under their goodwill to let you come in or not.
Thank you, Clark. And by the way, I would love to host with you anytime.
I look forward to it, Greg.
Okay, that was Clark Kaposhian, chairman of the Utah Shooting Sports Council, who's just always available and just so knowledgeable, and I appreciate his comments. When we come back after the break, let's shift gears because you know what? It's time to go to the movies. We're going to check in with the KSL Movie Show on what's hot this weekend next.
Sometimes when our furnace stops working, it's something simple we can fix ourselves, if we only knew how. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and the next time your furnace stops working, before you call a company out to fix it, try this first. Go shut the furnace down and make sure your air filter is clean. Go around the house and make sure the vents are open and there's nothing blocking the return air. If it's been a while since you've changed the batteries in your thermostat, go ahead and do that too. Then go turn the furnace back on, and if it stays on, you're probably good. If it stops working again, you're probably going to want a technician to check it out. If you don't know one, Any Hour Services has a special offer for any homeowners listening. One of our HVAC technicians will diagnose and troubleshoot your furnace for only $29. Then they'll explain what they found and present you with repair options. And don't worry, our technicians service all brands. Call Any Hour Services and let them know you heard about this $29 troubleshooting special on the radio. 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
The movie show coming to you live today from Minky Couture in Layton. And what a perfect day to get a Minky blanket. You're already thinking about how cold it is, and you're seeing the snow falling outside. The splash is hitting your car. You've got the heat turned all the way up. Wouldn't you like to go home and then wrap yourself in the softest thing that exists? Yes, you would. And Lisa's going to make it happen today for an incredible discount.
Yes, we have got an exclusive offer for your listeners. With code MOVIE55, they can receive 55% off any full-priced blankets. And we're going to add something a little
See, we
special.
love added value on the movie show so much.
Yes. Well, it's Christmas time, right? And we always do our Christmas pillowcases, which are a huge hit for a great Christmas gift. They're a excellent price point. People love them.
Yeah, the only problem with a Minky blanket is if you pull it up over your head, you suffocate. So how do you get the softness on your face while you've got the softness around your body?
The pillowcase, yes. So with code MOVIE55, if you come into one of our store locations, you can receive a free pillowcase with your $50 purchase. So come on in, make a purchase, and you'll receive one of our free Christmas pillowcases.
So there's the motivation to come in and pick for yourself so that you can walk out with the blanket that you want today.
Yes.
All right, everybody needs to know your locations then. So we're here in Layton.
Yes, we're in Layton, but I have to go geographically, so I make sure I don't miss anyone.
No worries.
Logan, South Ogden, Layton, Sugar House, Draper, Orem, and St. George. So we've got Utah covered.
All right, so in store, you get the Movie 55 discount, and if you make a $50 or greater purchase, you get a free Minky Christmas pillowcase. That is awesome generosity. Thank you, Lisa.
Yes.
Now, you can still get the Movie 55 discount if you're online. But to get the pillowcase, you got to come into one of the 7 locations.
Yep.
Love it. Okay, we'll talk about the stadium blankets. We'll talk about the different sizes and all the different gifts. I mean, there's something for every member of the family, including your pets.
Yes, we've got robes,
Why
sleeping
should your
bags,
pets?
tree
I mean, they
skirts,
sleep on
so
your
much.
blankets anyway. My dogs go straight for the Minkies wherever they're laid around.
It's true.
So come get a Minky in store, and you get a free Christmas pillowcase at any of their 7 locations.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Honey, look. 4 calling birds.
Do they have cell phones?
Well, yeah. They're called calling birds because they have 4 lines of Cricket 5G.
How do they pay?
Oh, easy. Each line is only $25 a month.
Who are they calling?
Beats me. One sec, gotta take this.
Join Cricket Nation and get 4 lines for $25 per month each. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Cricket may temporarily slow data speeds if the network is busy. New lines only. All lines must be selected. Unlimited plan fees. Terms and restrictions apply. Cricket 5G requires a compatible device. It is not available everywhere. See cricketwireless.com for details.
Just look outside the window. Winter is here, and a lot of Utah kids don't have the warm coats and sturdy shoes that they need to get through the upcoming cold months. KSL's Quarters for Christmas has been helping local kids for years, turning your donations into warm coats and shoes for kids right here in our community. Every dollar you give goes directly to providing coats and shoes for kids who need them most. It's easy to make a difference. Just go online to kslquarters.com. That's kslquarters.com. Donate what you can, and know that you're helping keep a child warm this winter. Join us in spreading a little comfort and a lot of kindness with KSL's Quarters for Christmas.
Common Spirit Health. Hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advance healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness.
At Social Security, we are always thinking of ways to save you time and make things easier. That's why we created My Social Security. A My Social Security account allows you to access your earnings history and benefits information, request a replacement Social Security card, get a proof of income letter, estimate and apply for benefits, and more. Save time. Go online. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security. Securing today and tomorrow.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Inside Sources.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the
You looked
fire
outside,
is
Andy,
so
lately.
delightful.
You see what's
And
going on
since
out
we've
there.
no place
It's
to go,
winter, and it's
let
getting
it
colder,
snow, let it
and we're seeing
snow,
a lot
let
of
it
snow. Today
Man,
is
it does
Friday, which means it's the movie show, and we're having a snowy day all weekend. It's a perfect time to go to the movies.
I agree.
Ho, ho, ho.
And we've got Rachel, too, so, hey, let's go to the movies.
All right, so because it's Christmas time, of course, our big movie of the week is a horror movie.
Great,
Get those
thank
Christmas
you.
feels.
Because it makes perfect sense, right?
yeah.
All right, so Greg, I'm fairly certain, without insulting you, that I can say that you have never played the video game series Five Nights at Freddy's.
Absolutely true.
All right. I also feel reasonably confident that you've never heard of Five Nights at Freddy's maybe before right now.
That's also true. I apologize, Andy.
You don't have
Rachel.
to apologize.
It's true. I've never heard of it. But I'm
You
sure
don't
it's
have to
great.
apologize. Let me give you a real quick setup of what this is about. It's called Five Nights at Freddy's because the premise is, can you survive 5 nights at the haunted pizza parlor where a bunch of murders had taken place years before? So in the first movie, Josh Hutcherson, who plays this security guard named Mike, his job is to sit at the place at night at security, and weird stuff happens, and these animatronics seem to come to life. And well, since there was murders years before, did the animatronics have something to do with it? Who knows? He doesn't know. There's a whole lot going on. His younger sister seems to be able to talk to him and thinks that they're friendly, but, you know, murders and all. So I can't, without spoiling it for anybody who somehow hasn't seen it and wants to, a whole bunch of stuff happens. The other security guard he's working with, played by Elizabeth Lale, she seems to have some weird connection to the place. So everything that happens in 1, this takes place, part 2 takes place a little bit after that. Now, it looks like a lot more than a little bit because the girl who plays his younger sister is like way older, since it's been 3 years in real life, even though it's only been a few months in the show's history. So they're just all dealing with everything that happened in the first movie, and then they're finding out now there's a murderous marionette puppet at one of the older pizza locations where apparently some other murders took place that somehow Mike doesn't know about, but his girlfriend did but forgot to tell him.
Yeah.
And so I mean, this is a really convoluted thing. If you're if you're not up on the lore, this is going to be a tough watch for you. I think I'm safe to say.
There's also a big town festival in honor of
the murders at the pizza shop. Yeah.
Hey, Rachel, and after you saw Five Nights at Freddy's #1, were you dying for the sequel?
See, I'm bad to ask that question too because I saw the first one on Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
Were you dying for the sequel?
Then did you? Then were you? Okay, well that's great. Let's watch the sequel.
No, I was surprised. To be honest, I was surprised how boring both movies were. I thought that they were both kind of slogs.
Who do we know that's in them? Who's a big name?
So
Josh Hutcherson.
Yeah, go ahead.
From Hunger Games. People were.
He plays PETA in the Hunger Games. Katniss's co.
That doesn't help. But anyway, that's
well, it helps a lot of people, Greg.
Josh, somebody. Okay, that's great.
But yeah, they're not a ton of people that you're just like, oh, these are big, huge stars. Matthew Lillard, who a lot of people know. And in this movie, we get Skeet Ulrich, who they were both in the Scream franchise together. So this is kind of fun that it's additional horror, and these two guys are back together in a different horror movie.
But they don't actually share a scene together.
No,
so
they don't. So if that was what you were hoping for, you don't get it in Five Nights at Freddy's 2. But don't worry, Greg. You're going to get at least a Five Nights at Freddy's 3 because this is almost like a bridge movie. When it was over, I actually groaned like, what?
You were.
That's where they're going to end it?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I was not.
What is there any significance to the timing of this with the holidays and whatnot? Is this a time of year when we release fun new movies?
There is a tradition of Christmas horror, but this doesn't have any holiday in it.
I feel like if I remember right, the first Five Nights at Freddy's was sometime around Thanksgiving or just after, because I remember thinking, why are they releasing a horror movie not around Halloween? But It made so much money. It was, I mean, the first one really did bonkers at the box office, Greg. So this is why we have a sequel.
Yeah.
And also there was like, how many video games, Stone, in the series? There's like at least 3 or 4 in the series. So there's a lot of lore left to be told in the story. And I'm telling you, Greg, there were 2 girls sitting in front of me who were obvious big fans because they were writhing in ecstasy at some of the cameos and different things that happened that I just felt no connection to. There were 12 video games in the series. Oh, Lord, if we get 12 Five Nights at Freddy's movies.
There you go. If you enjoy horror movies, though, is it scary? Is it one that you might... Oh, no.
It's possible that it might be seen as a gateway horror, as an introductory because it's PG-13, but for like the true horror aficionado, there's only one semi-fun kill in the movie. Everything else is off-screen.
Yeah, a semi-fun kill, Greg. Digest that sentence.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's fun.
But and they waste Wayne Knight's in it to play
I mean, the minute
Newman.
you see his character, you know that he is a villain. He is a villain, and so
hello, Newman.
He did what he could for the part.
And then I love McKenna Grace, this actress, and she's in it for like 5 minutes. So
yeah.
I just, it was a mess. It really was a mess. And I asked somebody who played the video games, they're like, yeah, the video game's basically just a bunch of jump scares. And they did try to do some jump scares in this. And sometimes they were successful and sometimes not. But for me, this was a big miss. This, for me.
I think the horror fans will actually like it less than average fans.
I have to say, Rachel, the premise, Five Nights at Freddy's, when I read about that, it sounded like it had some potential. I mean, it sounded like a fun theme, something you could write a movie around.
Yeah.
In the first movie, honestly, I was kind of enjoying the first movie. There were 2 big reveals in the first movie. One is who's the bad person, and 2 is how were these animatronic puppets, why were they seemingly alive? I was okay with the reveal on the bad person, but I did not like what ended up being the reason for the animatronic puppets. So that kind of soured me at the end. Oh my gosh, we got a correction. Apparently there's 28 games, including spin-offs, in the Five Nights at Freddy's series. So
you've already learned that.
Heaven help us all.
Is this the kind of movie that's going to be at a lot of theaters this weekend?
Oh, yeah.
It's big. Yeah. It's a biggie.
That's why it's our big movie of the week. It's probably, I don't know if it's going to win the box office because Zootopia is still there, but it's going to do, it made $7 million in previews last night, which is a really good, solid number for a film.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is how big is it going to drop off in week 2? So when all the fans have gone and seen it once, will they like it enough to go again, and will other people go with them?
Very good. Hey, before I forget, and I don't want to leave this yet, but you're at a place that I was going to ask you something, Andy. I've heard a couple people say that you were wondering what you could get Greg Skordas for Christmas. And I want you to know that one of those University of Utah collegiate blankets is probably just right there. I bet you can see one right now. Has my
Why, as a matter of fact, I can.
Pull out that credit card, and that would be a great gift for me, by the way. If you get the BYU
one, I was
maybe
trying
not
to
so
keep
much.
it on the down low, but obviously word got back to you, so okay.
Yeah, those are amazing blankets. So, what else is going on this weekend?
Well, actually, there's another movie that I think more people will like than Five Nights at Freddy's. It's called Hamnet. We'll talk about that during the show. It's a fictionalized version of the events involving William Shakespeare, his wife Agnes, which looks like Agnes when you see it written down, and the death of their son named Hamnet, and how it relates to the play Hamlet. I tell you what, you will not read Hamlet the same after you see this movie. In a good way.
If I were going to see one or the other this weekend.
Oh, Hamnet all the way.
Yeah, there's no.
This might get Best Picture nomination.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
It's one of those that good.
Yeah, it would be a surprise if it didn't.
It's
All
an
right.
emotional watch.
Okay, you agree with that assessment, Rachel? If I saw one or the other?
Take a box of tissues with you when you see it. I would also recommend seeing Merrily We Roll Along. It's the filming of the Broadway musical, and it's really good.
Merrily We Roll Along.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't got Daniel Radcliffe in it?
It's got Daniel Radcliffe, Jonathan Groff, and it's.
And somebody else, if you're a fan of Broadway, you will recognize instantly.
Count me out. Okay, well, we're going to turn things over to the movie show. I want you guys to know that I've been all by myself today. I had to do this show as a solo, so I appreciate you guys. And again, don't forget about
Greg, you were heroic today.
Thanks so much.
Heroic.
We're going to turn things over to the KSL Movie Show, where they will have more of the top things to watch this weekend. We're going to be going to Andy and Rachel right after this.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
11 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Heather Peterson. KSL's top story this hour. Today's snowfall is contributing to avalanche danger on the mountains above Ogden and the Salt Lake City area. Utah avalanche forecaster Craig Gordon explained to Inside Sources that the light layer of snow left from October is not a stable foundation for today's dump of snow.
That shallow snow loses its structural integrity. It becomes a real weak base, and now, man, we are just going to stack some very dense, heavy snow on top of that.
Gordon says it's important to be patient and careful, especially in the backcountry. Bountiful police are asking everyone to keep an eye out for a missing and endangered 5-year-old boy who they believe is with his non-custodial father. The mother of 5-year-old James Despain says his father picked him up on Tuesday, but later sent a message saying he was taking their son away to keep him from a scheduled surgery. Police are asking anyone with information to give them a call. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. The Vatican released its latest report on the role of women in the Catholic Church.
A report published by the Vatican, it made it quite clear. It says it's just not possible for women to be admitted to the church as deacons, as it is currently not possible to formulate, quote, a definitive judgment on the matter. Now, the 7-page report presents both sides of the argument. It was the late Pope Francis who initially requested this and the previous study looking into whether or not women could be ordained as deacons.
ABC's Maggie Rulli reporting. Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 158 points, the S&P up 18, and the NASDAQ is up 69. Coming up, looks like a winter wonderland out there right now. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 11:01.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Between all the holiday parties,
weekend tailgates,
and family get-togethers. Oh, they're here. Hey, who needs something to drink?
we've been overindulging a little more than usual. Thank goodness we both added active liver to our diets to give our livers some much-needed support so we have the energy we need to enjoy the holidays.
Active Liver from New Nordic contains a powerful blend of turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract designed to give your liver maximum protection and help it do vital jobs like removing toxins from alcohol, rich foods, and sweets.
Try Active Liver today and enjoy all the holiday treats with the peace of mind of knowing you're giving your liver some relief.
Find Active Liver online at Amazon, Vitacost.com, or iHerb.com.